Automation can make our lives a lot easier, and this is true especially in the lives of teachers. The many, many small tasks we complete on a daily basis can add up to very time consuming days. In today's coffee chat, I sit down with ITM trainer Kimberly McClain as she leads us through how to reclaim our time by syncing grades from Schoology to PowerSchool. Automagically. Let's get to learning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a coffee chat. I am joined today with Miss Kimberly McClain and Miss Lindsay Johnston. Ladies, please introduce yourself.
I'm Kimberly McClain, and I'm a trainer for Cincinnati Public Schools, and I work with the Internet Technology Management Department.
I am Lindsay Johnston. I am an algebra teacher at Riverview East Academy, one of the many schools within Cincinnati Public.
Now, ladies, I am really excited about today's coffee chat because I am 100% a learner. So, full transparency, I'm one of those teachers that just didn't sync my Schoology to PowerSchool because it seemed hard and it seemed like I didn't know how to do it. So I'm really excited that you're here, Kim, to lead us through. All right, let's get started.
First, we're going to have Lindsay share her screen with us, and we're going to need to be able to see either the whole screen, so because you're going to switch between tabs, or we can start in PowerSchool and just check out your categories, and then we'll move to Schoology. So let's start with PowerTeacher Pro. Click that link at the top left.
Okay.
All right, so we need to take a look at your categories. So we can go either to settings, or you can click that round plus at the top right. And then click category. And this is going to give you a pop-up. It's thinking that you're adding a category, but we just want you to click the view all tab. So we have a list of the categories there. So these are the default categories in PowerTeacher Pro. Are you going to use any other categories that we need to add, or have you been using the defaults?
I've just been using defaults.
Okay, then we can just click close or save. You can hit the X at the top or save at the bottom. Okay. And now we can go to Schoology because they're going to automatically match. And pick the course you want to sync.
Do I have to do each course separately?
If they are not linked, you will have to do each course separately, yes.
Okay.
All right, now that you're in a class, on the left-hand menu, click Grade Setup. We're going to take a look and see if your categories are set up in Schoology. No. They are not. So at the top where it says Add, go ahead and click that button. And we're going to add those categories from PowerSchool. And what's really, really important is to note that they have to exactly match. Capital letters, spaces, everything has to match. So we know that there's a category for quiz. So you can just type quiz there and hit create. And then you'll click add again. And then test.
Okay, I got them all.
Wonderful. Now we're going to set up the sync to PowerSchool now that your categories match in both PowerSchool and Schoology. Super important that they match. And now that you have that done, we're going to go down the left-hand menu. You'll have to scroll down a little bit to the PowerSchool link. Oh, this is excellent. We're going to get the approval right from the beginning. So anyone doing this from the very first step will see it. So go ahead and approve PowerSchool's authorization. And this is
going to mean? What does it mean to approve that authorization, Kim?
So PowerSchool can't access your Schoology course grades until you give it permission right there. So you're authorizing it. And this is where we're going to set up our configuration. And I just want to note that if you've opened it before and authorized it before, sometimes it'll show up on that Sync Grades tab. And what we want is for everyone to click over to this configuration tab. Now yours defaulted there, but I just wanted to make that note for the video. And now what we're going to do is match up with those drop-down menus, the PowerSchool categories to the categories you created.
Okay.
Yep. So now go up to the very top where it says automatically shorten assignment titles. You'll want to do that. And then you can click save. And you are set up and good to go.
That's it?
Yes. But now I want you to click over just to take a look at the Sync Grades tab.
Okay.
Because if you have anything in there that has a grade, it's going to say, this is what I wanted to show you. So first, this is your status screen. Mm-hmm. And on the left are your assignment names. And then you have status and action. And you can see that yours are not yet synced. And I want you just to kind of hover over one of those view errors. And I'm going to guess it says there's no category because we set up your categories today. So
Okay.
if you want to go back and have any of these assignments sync, you're going to have to go back and add a category
Okay.
to the assignment itself. And then it'll come back and it'll sync automatically, periodically throughout the day. But if you ever want it to sync instantly, you just click that sync changes button on your grades page right here.
Okay.
There's also a little sync button in your gradebook that you can click, but we don't want to go into that because there's student names in there.
Okay. Got it.
And that's it. You're set up.
So let me ask this so that I get it straight. This is how I can check to make sure that my assignment's synced, correct? So if
Correct.
it says view error here, then either my categories aren't aligned or something like that. This is my troubleshooting page.
This is your troubleshooting page, and almost 99% of the time your error is going to be you're missing a category, or you've added a category that doesn't have a match in PowerSchool, or your category is tests and the category in PowerSchool is test without an S, or something simple like that. Okay. If you get an error that doesn't say category required, that might require, you might want to call the help desk just to check that out if you can't figure it out on your own. We get pretty good with those errors.
I have a question.
Of course.
When it syncs, like, and I grade in Schoology, is there any like delay as to when it shows up in PowerSchool?
There can be. Yeah, usually up to 24 hours.
Okay.
Even when you click sync changes instantly, it really depends on the volume of activity in PowerSchool. So like that last week of the semester, it's going to sync a little slower than it does throughout the semester. And the last week of school, it's going to sync a little slower than, because the volume nationwide. Mm-hmm. It's not just Cincinnati Public Schools, affects how fast that works.
Okay.
And I do also want to note, Melissa, if someone comes to this PowerSchool page and they don't get this screen, this sync grades and that configuration screen, it means that the course they're using is not synced to PowerSchool. So either it was a self-created course or it was a course that was changed at some point in PowerSchool and they're still using the old version of it. And that's really important because then we have to do like a whole grades transfer and a student transfer. And I mean, we can fix that. Everything's fixable. But if they don't get this sync grade configuration page when they click the PowerSchool link, there's something disconnected from PowerSchool. I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of that.
So for example, I actually requested a course be made for remote learning because I wanted a home base for my students. That's not a PowerSchool course. So that's what you're saying. If I have like the course created that isn't in PowerSchool, I wouldn't see this screen, correct?
Nope, I would not see this screen. You would not be able to set up any configurations or sync any grades in a course like that.
I love that as a common error because teachers do say that they don't see this page or they can't get it to sync. Any other tidbits you can give us of common mistakes or common errors that you've seen when trying?
You will see this error if you are, say, a teacher has retired or quit mid-semester, or you're a brand new teacher at the beginning of the school year taking over a course that was assigned to like a sub. You may get this error because in PowerSchool at your school location, they may have created a whole new course for you, but because this course still existed in Schoology, the new sync didn't connect. And so you wouldn't be able to sync those grades. And that's a weird little, it's a really rare occurrence, but it does happen. And teachers get kind of confused. And then when I hear, oh yeah, I took over this course from so-and-so, I usually know that the problem is they probably in PowerSchool created a new course for you. And until we delete this course, that new course doesn't sync through properly. So there's some like steps we have to take in the background to fix that. But that's the most common error I see, is that it either doesn't connect to PowerSchool at all because it's a created course, or you've taken over a course and they've recreated it in PowerSchool for you without telling like Schoology.
That's interesting. Is that something that I can contact the help desk to fix?
Yes, it might take us a couple of days, which is frustrating for teachers, I know, because we want you to get started right away, but this is something we have to contact Schoology help for, and you need to let us know so we can start the ticket.
Now, what about co-teachers? So intervention specialists, or there's even some like math specialists that are co-teachers on courses. would they be able to add grades and then it sync to the teacher of records
Yep.
PowerSchool?
Yes, if they create an assignment in the course that they're a co-teacher in, they should even be able to get in here and set up grades if they're an actual co-teacher in PowerSchool and in Schoology. They'll be an admin in Schoology, so they'll be able to see all of this. Anything they create, they'll be able to do, but they'd have to be able to get into the Teacher of Records PowerTeacher Pro to set up categories if they don't match. That's the only difference, is that you just have to make sure those categories match. If you're a co-teacher, you'd have to share the same gradebook in PowerTeacher Pro to be able to set up the categories to match. But if I'm a co-teacher that's created an assignment and Schoology is set up to sync, that assignment's going to go into the Teacher of Records book.
So I like that we're talking how PowerTeacher Pro and Schoology talk to each other. Just to clarify, it doesn't go both ways though, right?
Nope.
So PowerTeacher doesn't put things in the Schoology. Schoology just communicates with PowerTeacher, but PowerTeacher is like the last step, right?
Yes, PowerTeacher only syncs with Schoology in the sense that your student list and your course list shows up in Schoology. That's it. Anything grade-wise goes from Schoology to PowerTeacher Pro, but not the other way around. So the gradebooks will never match. If you've added assignments in PowerTeacher Pro, you will never have a matching gradebook. So you need to make sure that students know that PowerTeacher Pro is the gradebook of record. That's what we send to the state, and that's what their parents should look at for their grades. And you will get calls from parents that say, but they have an A in Schoology and a B or a C in PowerTeacher, and they won't understand what's going on. And a quick explanation of like, you have extra assignments in PowerTeacher Pro that you did in class or whatever they're there for, usually clears that right up.
Thank you for that clarification. I feel like for some of our parents, that would drive them absolutely insane for those not to match. Is there a way that you can put a grade in Schoology that isn't graded by Schoology so that every single one of your grades transfers to PowerTeacher?
If you want to do that work, you can do that work. You can match them up. I think most teachers find that after a while to be a
so
bit
you just
burdensome
gotta
to
pick your, you just have to
make those gradebooks match.
figure out which one,
Pick your
figure
battles.
out which one makes the most sense, either explaining that to parents or putting in the extra work to add in those, all of your grades in Schoology.
You can literally put an assignment in PowerSchool. It has a note attached to it that is ungraded. That's like a check mark, and then put a note in the description that basically explains, this is the gradebook of record. This is the gradebook that matters. Whatever nice note you want to write to parents, because they can read all the descriptions. And so they can just have that quick little note to parents as an assignment, their first assignment or something. That's how I would do it.
That's interesting. I kind of like that. And I think maybe you can put that as an announcement on Schoology as well, that that's the explanation as to why they are not or may not be saying the exact same thing. I like that tip.
Yeah, I taught online for 16 years, and the gradebook was the #1 way we communicated with parents. So putting in assignments that are actually notes was quite effective, because PowerSchool allows you to have ungraded assignments or assignments that won't take a grade. And so we would use the description field and just write a note to parents saying, hey, tests are coming up next week, so we won't have as many assignments this week, or just little things like that to communicate, because parents check the gradebook a lot. They'll check it more than they check anything else. And so we would use that as a communication tool. It was great.
So quick question, as I'm in Schoology preparing for today, we are going to be doing a Desmos activity, exploring domain and range, but I have it as a link. It's not as when I do add materials, it's not an assignment. So there's no category when I list it.
Right, so it won't sync.
So it's not
because it's not an assignment. You would have to create an assignment and put the link in that. Right, so add assignment. And now we're going to create that Desmos assignment here. So go ahead and give it a name. And then either provide instructions or and then you'll have to give them the link. So I would go ahead and delete that. Let's put it in as an actual link so the students don't have to copy and paste. Not through just the HTTPS. Yeah.
Okay, so having the link pasted, it's not going to automatically.
Nope, it does not. And I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. So now in the description box, you're just going to type your really quick what they're going to do.
Right.
And then now we can add the link. Give yourself a space there, otherwise it'll connect.
Okay.
Do we want the link to be over the words Desmos activity?
That would be cool.
Okay, so highlight Desmos activity and then click. You'll see the little chain link in the toolbar next to the square with the arrow in it. Oh, nope, that's a link that'll attach to the bottom of your assignment. We want this in the description. So go to the top one. There you go. And now paste that link right there where you're at. And I would click that open link in a new tab button, because I don't know about you, but as a student, it always frustrates me when my assignment opens on the page and I want to be able to go back and forth to directions and things, and click Save Changes. And now it's a link that'll open in a new tab for your students. So now you have to give it a due date and a category and the number of points it's worth. Now we've already set up your category, so you've got that. So if that looks good to you, go ahead and click Save or Create.
Okay.
And now as you enter grades in this, it will show up in your gradebook in Schoology.
And then I can get rid of that link.
Yes.
Awesome. I like that.
Yeah. So you will have to manually enter those from Desmos though, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what you want to do is enter them here instead of in PowerTeacher Pro.
Okay.
So that it'll sync over.
Okay. So when I open this or when I grade it, how do I enter it in for the students?
You'll go to the gradebook. So click the gradebook link on the left.
Okay.
And you see there's the assignment, and you'll just click right into a block and you'll enter the grade there. You'll go all the way down. And this is great because now that we're in the gradebook, you see next to the little clipboard up at the top right. So that shows you that status log that we showed you earlier. And you see how there's a red dot there?
Yes.
It's telling you that there was an error somewhere in some of your syncs.
Okay.
So there is a little connection here. And the little wheel to the left of that, the double arrow, and after you've entered grades and saved them, you can just click that button and it's going to sync them right over to PowerSchool. It may be immediate. It might take a couple of hours depending on the volume of flow of information going back to Schoology and PowerSchool. But you can do it right here from your gradebook instead of from that PowerSchool window.
That's
But something to consider is that if you're going to manually enter grades, you might want to just create the assignment in PowerTeacher Pro and not have it dual duty. You could have just left the link there if you didn't want to do it, but you should always edit those grades at the source. So again, if you're in your PowerTeacher Pro gradebook and you decide I'm going to give student X a couple extra points, or I'm going to subtract a couple points, I found out he was cheating, I'm giving him a 0, you need to do that at the source. So if the assignment came from Schoology, come back to Schoology and edit it there and it'll sync over. Otherwise, you're going to get overwrites and be frustrated all semester.
Okay. Makes sense. I appreciate that.
And you should always edit the grade at the source.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for saying that. I actually had a note to bring that up because one of our teachers asked about that. She said, I spent the time syncing my gradebook and then they all changed back. So make sure that you
Edit the
in Schoology.
Yep. Edit the grade at the source.
Any other last minute tidbits that we should know about syncing our Schoology to PowerTeacher Pro?
Keep your assignment name short. As short as possible. That still explain what you need. You want to keep them under 50 characters if you can, which seems like that would be easy until you have really long project names and things. It's really easy to get to 50 characters, but you want to kind of keep those short so they're consistent.
So when I have my supercalifragilisticexpialidocious assignment, I said
yes. Yeah.
Kim, thank you so much for guiding us through. And thank you, Ms. Johnston, for being vulnerable enough to allow us to learn with you. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming and doing a coffee chat with me.
Anytime.